Welcome to Mike's Tech Zone. On this channel, I hope to show some unusual and useful ways to use different forms of tech in interesting ways. I plan to cover projects that revolve around the following topics. Hardware. I plan to cover different hardware ranging from desktop to laptop to even embedded devices, such as Raspberry Pis. I hope to share the tech that I buy myself and the reasons why I've decided to buy that rather than have it given to me, and the reasons why I've decided on that hardware. Some hardware may range from cheap to not so cheap, but as all hardware is purchased by myself, I'll try to explain you the reasons why I decided to buy that hardware, what makes it more value for money than anything else. So that the reasons why it fulfills my needs, but the reasons why it may fulfill your needs too, or reasons why it may not fulfill your needs. I plan on covering such things as storage, backup, and replication. As today's world is becoming more and more digital, storage becomes a critical issue. And if you plan on saving things either in the cloud or on personal storage, then you're always going to have to worry about backups. Because if you're not keeping somewhere in 3 places, you're not backing it up. I plan on covering ways that are cost-effective, things ranging from just a simple copy and paste to fully automated systems that will replicate automatically. Some solutions may even offer up to cloud storage to avoid the hassle of having to maintain storage on site. I also plan on covering such technologies such as RAID, redundant array of inexpensive disks, and how to use that to have cheap, effective, large storage on premises that is resistant to failure of a single drive. I plan on covering different operating systems. As Windows is one of the number one operating system in the world used by PCs, most people are fairly familiar with it, but I plan on showing ways to maintain it, clean it out if anything happens, and for example, if your hard drive dies, how to recover that computer back to a working state. I plan on covering little bits about Macintosh OS X operating system, potentially even from ways of coming from a Windows to a Mac operating system, because there are some differences that make jumping from one to the other a little bit strange at times or a little bit difficult. I plan on covering Linux fairly in depth. Linux is one of my core operating systems used for my server infrastructure, and I plan on introducing a little bit as well as using a few projects to make things such as, say, a firewall or to make a NAS box. I'll also try and cover a few different operating systems on Linux. There are some that are geared towards storage or being a router or a general sort of go-to. I plan on showing you the reason why Linux has become one of my main infrastructures is because it has allowed me to do things that you'd only be able to do with Windows Server, but you don't have the cost associated with it. For example, with Windows Server, you're meant to have CALs, so a license per user. You don't have to worry about that with Linux because it's all open source and free, barring a few operating systems such as Red Hat. There are some things that Linux can do that Windows can't as a server, and such as running fairly good software RAID solutions, such as ZFS, BTRFS, and the good old MD software RAID. And I plan on covering the pros and cons and different things that may decide why you want to go with one or another. I plan on covering some networking, whether it be wired, wireless, and of course firewalls. I know that with wireless there's a big discrepancy with what is as specifications for, say, a wireless access point or a router and the real world performance. And I plan on getting through the mist of the sales and actually telling and describing and also proving what is real world throughput that you can expect from any modern wireless access point or router or even clients. With wired connection, I hope to show that it's not always the speed that you're expecting, and certain things can influence that. And I also plan on also demonstrating some simple hardware things, such as making your own network cables, for example. I also hope to cover a few other DIY projects and share some of my other passions, such as I'm interested in photography. So I hope to be taking you through some of the experiences that I have with that, and also covering some other experiences that I have with, for example, cars or something else, or other passions that I have in my life. And I'm hoping that you'll come join with me while I undertake them. All right, this is Mike from Mike Tech Zone, so I'll see you in the next video.